In the world of big business, you hear two words thrown around all the time: mergers and acquisitions. But what's the real story behind them? Well, we're going to break it down. You see it in the headlines constantly, right? The terms merger and acquisition, they get used almost interchangeably. But here's the thing, they're not the same. Not even close. And the choice between them, it reveals everything about power, money, and strategy. It has huge implications for everyone involved, from the corner office all the way down to the smallest shareholder. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about why this distinction is such a big deal. Then, we'll define what a true merger is and contrast that with an acquisition. We'll put them side by side to see the differences. And finally, we'll get into the so what, the strategy behind these massive corporate moves. Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, why does this even matter? I mean, before we can even start comparing them, we have to get a handle on why making this distinction is so critical. Let's clear up some of that fog. Because at its very core, the choice of merger or acquisition sends a huge signal. It tells you everything. Are we looking at a partnership, a team up between equals? Or is this just a straight up purchase? Getting that right, well, that's the key to unlocking what's really going on behind the scenes of these giant corporate deals. All right, so let's zoom in on our first term. What does it actually mean when we talk about a true merger? So the easiest way to think about a merger is like a corporate marriage. Seriously, you have two companies, often about the same size, who decide they're better together. They join forces and they create a brand new single company. Both boards have to agree, and then the shareholders from both sides get to vote I do before this new entity is officially born. And this really gets the DNA of a true merger. It's collaborative. It's not about one company swallowing another. Nope. It's about two companies coming together to create something totally new. And to make that partnership real, you'll often see them splitting power right down the middle, divvying up board seats and top jobs between the two original leadership teams. A classic textbook example of this? Think back to 1998, with the massive merger of equals between Germany's Daimler Benz and America's Chrysler. This was the real deal. They didn't just join forces, they completely dissolved their old companies to create an entirely new one, Daimler Chrysler AG. The goal? To build an automotive powerhouse that would dominate the entire global market. Okay, so that's the partnership model, the marriage. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the other side of things, the acquisition. And trust me, it's a very different beast. So, if a merger is a marriage, an acquisition is more like buying a house. It's a lot more straightforward. One company, the acquirer, just buys another company, the target. The buyer takes control and the target company gets absorbed. It ceases to exist as its own independent thing. The power dynamic here, it's crystal clear. There's a buyer and there's a seller. And the target company just gets folded into the buyer's operations. Now, these deals can be friendly, where management is on board, or they can get hostile. And that's where things get interesting. That's when the buyer goes over the heads of resistant management and takes their offer directly to the shareholders. A perfect example of this is when Microsoft bought LinkedIn back in 2016. This was a textbook acquisition. Microsoft was the definite acquirer, splashing out over $26 billion for LinkedIn. The target? Was a new company formed? Nope. LinkedIn was just absorbed, and now it operates as a piece of the massive Microsoft machine. All right, so we've defined both terms. Now let's put them side by side. This is where the differences really pop. So let's boil this all down. Merger, that's a partnership, a merger of equals that creates a brand new company. Acquisition, that's a takeover, plain and simple. One company buys and absorbs another. But, and this is the key takeaway, you have to watch the public narrative. So many deals that are, for all intents and purposes, acquisitions are called mergers. Why? Well, strategic combination just sounds a whole lot nicer than we're taking over, doesn't it? So that brings us to the big question. Why choose one over the other? Well, it's definitely not random. The choice between a merger and an acquisition is always driven by a very specific strategic goal. At the end of the day, companies are trying to achieve very different things with these moves, whether it's getting huge overnight or just buying a cool piece of tech. So let's look at the rationale. A merger is often a grand strategic play, right? Two big companies combine to achieve massive synergies, maybe to consolidate and grab more market share, or to control an entire supply chain from top to bottom. An acquisition, on the other hand, can be way more tactical. You can think of it like a surgical strike. A big company might acquire a smaller one just to get its hands on a specific piece of technology, some valuable intellectual property, or maybe just to bring a super talented team on board. So, as our source material says, strictly speaking, in deal terms, they are very different. And that's really the bottom line. This isn't just about semantics or, some boring vocabulary lesson. Understanding this difference is absolutely fundamental to understanding corporate strategy, power dynamics, and what's really happening behind those billion-dollar headlines. So the next time you see a deal announced as a merger of equals, y'all know what to look for, right? Ask yourself, is a new company actually being created? Are the board seats and leadership roles being split down the middle? Or is this really just a big company swallowing a smaller one? Now you've got the tools to look right past the PR spin and understand the true nature of the deal.